The biggest breakthroughs come often, not always, but often from the breakdowns. Those moments where you courageously face your shadows and set yourself free. The moments where you face the emotions, the stories, the meanings behind what you've been probably subconsciously telling yourself. The moments where those deeper wounds that have imprinted themselves in your body, the emotions and energy that has become trapped in your cells, in your muscles, in your bones, in your tissues, in your blood, the spaces where emotion and energy are held in your body and are ready to be illuminated, are ready to be dissolved, are ready to be alchemized into love and light. We all have shadow aspects of the self. We all have subconscious and somatic programming that we have to be, or choose to be, willing to transcend. You cannot outsmart your shadows. You cannot talk your way out of them. It is an experience of being in the body and moving that energy through you. Letting the emotional energy be felt, acknowledged, processed, moved, and transmuted through that movement. And then welcoming in the higher expressions, the higher light, the opposing desired expression on the other side. And so with this full moon right now, today is Wednesday, May 31st, and the full moon is coming this Saturday, June 3rd, in its fullest. We are illuminating these patterns and aspects of our subconscious programming. And we are being initiated on a collective level into releasing and letting go and purging at a very deep level that is awakening us in each of our own ways into the higher expression of us as a soul. We are at a major precipice energetically. And where we go from here is destined and also an aspect of our free will journey. Because our souls chose a plan and it chose lessons to learn and evolve and grow through in this lifetime. And through our free will is how our souls evolve and grow through those predetermined and decided lessons and experiences and dynamics. Our soul's blueprint, our destiny. As an individual, we get to have free will to choose to be in alignment with that soul essence and energy and plan, or we can resist it. And often when we are following in pursuit of or in alignment with our soul's highest path and highest calling, there's going to be uncomfortable moments of expansion and evolution that require us to transcend these shadow aspects and to learn from those parts of ourselves. Something that I personally was navigating this morning through my own very deep soul purge and emotional release was this energy and identity. It was really wrapped up in at the level of my identity, which is why I say it's not something that you can just talk your way through. It's an embodied physical, psychological, subconscious, and somatic, meaning of the body, experience to rewire these patterns and these energies and frequencies and the belief systems that you hold. So I had uncovered an aspect of my identity that was tied to the story of failure, that was tied to the story of not being desired and feeling rejected. And these patterns of identifying as a failure and identifying as someone who was rejected over and over again, right? These patterns are created, these beliefs and these identities that an aspect of me had adopted was because of my experiences. I adopted these things because my personal journey, I am a very experiential learner. I am a 3-line in human design, if that's a lane of study that you're familiar with, which means that I experiment. I jump into things and figure it out as I go. I learn as I go through trial and error processes. And that means that I try a lot of things and I welcome in a lot of variety and I jump in 2 feet first, and figure it out as I go. And that means that I stumble a lot and I fall down a lot and I, don't always succeed at all of my endeavors. Sometimes it's just a lesson of contrast, and other times things work out better than I could even anticipate. And that contrast on my journey has been present throughout my entire life. And most recently, over the last few years, because I've been in such an intense growth space and transition with my career and my work, my sacred work here, I have trialed and experimented and fallen forward and failed forward more times than I can count. And I've also had beautiful wins and successes and celebrations. And there was also this part of me that was holding on to this identity as a failure. And no matter what I did, no matter what I tried, no matter the good that was happening or whatever, this aspect of me was really, really deep and was creating these patterns of perceiving myself as a failure and repelling things that I desired from my experience, and was also holding me back from moving forward, from taking new actions or different pathways, and from being more courageous again, because taking taking risks and being being an experiential learner, you have to have courage to continue stepping into the unknown, right? You have to have courage to continue figuring it out as you go and failing forward. And I understand now that failure is really up to the perception of the individual. And I have said so many times that you can't really fail because you're just learning and gaining progress and gaining information and learning and gaining wisdom. And there's so much to glean from those forward, falling forward or failing forward. Because I know for my own journey, I have never stopped. I have never given up. I've never thrown in the towel. I'm still here. And I'm still doing my best to move forward and progress forward. But I've also now uncovered this deeper layer and this deeper aspect of myself that was identifying as a failure. And when you're identifying with something so strong like that as a core part of your identity, you're going to create experiences that reflect that back to you. Right? So I've been attracting and creating these experiences that are mirroring this deep subconscious aspect of me, which then led me to feel rejected and undesired. And so these two pieces of my own personal puzzle have now come to light. And because I've been able to work with them on a subconscious level and on a physical, somatic, and body level, because I have allowed myself to feel through the emotions, process through them, have the emotional breakthrough, and cry and yell and scream and express and emote and move and breathe and shake, and then come into a state of neutrality again. And from that space of neutrality, welcoming in the new vibrations and the new energies and the new stories that I desire to be in that vibration, right? And get my body on board and get my subconscious and conscious mind on board. One of the ways that I personally do this is to get my energy on board is to meditate on specific mantras or affirmations. And so for this particular aspect of identity, it was, I am full of success. I am filled with success. And then I was able to bridge into I am successful. And feeling these feelings in my body and letting that lightness fill me up after that clearing, after the purging, after the breakdown. And feeling that breakthrough energy, feeling that freedom again in my body after discovering this shadow aspect. And that is true freedom and the work of the soul, to transcend and alchemize those shadows into lightness, and to allow ourselves to be courageous in willing to look at those parts of ourselves that feel raw and feel vulnerable and feel so very real in our bodies, and still acknowledge, process, digest, dissolve, move through, give them their space to express and move. And that is what creates the breakthroughs. That is what opens you and expands you up into that higher level of alignment with your soul and with your destined path with more ease, more lightness, more love, more courage to follow what your heart is speaking to you. We all have core aspects of our identity, who we see ourselves as underneath the surface, that are playing out in our everyday reality, in our conscious and unconscious thoughts, in our conscious and unconscious feelings, in the way our body is holding energy, and then in our actions. Because your belief systems in your identity creates the actions you take, the way that you show up in the world. And for me personally, part of my journey is that I've just been so frustrated with this trial and error and experiential learning aspect of myself, that I also have to accept that that is a part of who I am and a part of how I work and a part of how I learn and grow as a soul and as a human. And to reframe that experiential learning part of myself as though everything, allowing myself to see everything as a success because of what I glean from it and the wisdom that I gain from it and the experiences and the magic that I get to receive through that process that I go through, instead of viewing it in the eyes of failure. And so embracing a new identity as I am full of success, I am filled with success, and the energy and vibration behind that. And then the identity of I am successful, and allowing that part of me to build momentum and to imprint and to be programmed into my body and into my subconscious and into my conscious mind through the practices that I will continue to do to reinforce these energies and vibrations. That is how you alchemize and break through from the shadows that are holding you back. That is how you break through from the breakdowns. We can only transcend and rise from our shadows if we are willing to look at them and face them head on, direct. And every layer is going to present as it is meant to for your soul's growth and evolution. And so for me on my journey, this, although very deep and profound, was precisely and exactly the aspects that were showing up to be transcended and transmuted and illuminated within this powerful, potent full moon energy in order for me to step into what's calling me forward next. The aligned guidance and action for me today was to move through these emotional and mental patterns in my body and to reprogram at a subconscious and energetic and vibrational level. This is also the process that I bring my clients through. We do this work together so that you're not alone on your journey, and so that the dots start to connect and you have those breakthroughs, not only in your perception and your perspective and the ways of thought and new beliefs, but on a core identity level, energetically and in the body. Because it's not just one thing, it's all of it together. And so I share this with you for the intention of sharing my heart and part of my journey and my story, but also bringing you into this illumination of the value in your shadows, the value in looking at them head on, and the value of witnessing your subconscious aspects of self and identity, and rising through those patterns into that lightness, into that higher expression of your soul that is calling you forward, so that the blessings and the miracles and the magic and the joy and the celebrations and the bliss and the out of this world magic can occur for you. And as it is occurring, you can receive it fully in worthiness, instead of having guilt or shame or fear or anything else clouding the gift and the blessing of those higher vibrational experiences and blessings on the other side that are coming in for you. And so that you open up even deeper to receiving the blessings that are destined for you, that are making their way towards you. Clearing out these shadows creates the space to welcome in amplified light on a human and soul level, physically and spiritually, materially and metaphysically, all in harmony. It's all working together for your good and in your favor. And so I pray wherever you are in your journey today that this speaks to your heart, that something within this lights up an aspect of you that you are ready to release and transcend, and courageously, willingly do that soul work around it. Purge, clear, release, and then welcome in all that you desire to receive on a soul level, and identifying yourself as the one who has it all already. Identifying yourself as the version of you desire to be, you are destined to be, and that you get to be and become and embody right now. As you clear out the old, welcome in the new, and be that higher version and identity of the self that you, soul, desire to be. The power has always been within you and always is within you. This is your life, your journey to live, your responsibility to claim and to conquer yourself in the best ways possible. And I want you to know that you are never alone on this journey. I am here with you. The community is here with you. Source, universal team, guides, angels, ancestors, all are with you now and always to guide you, support you, lead you, and protect you on your journey, even into illuminating those shadows and rising on and rising up in higher love and light. I pray this served you deeply on your journey today. And if you desire to work together in any capacity, reply to this email, send me a personal message on Instagram, and I look forward to connecting with you in our next divine encounter soon. Namaste.